Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Hi. Hey. What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
What's up? Ladies and gentlemen, gather round for another uproarious session of laughter, wit, and a touch of naughtiness on the airwaves. Welcome back to Laugh Therapy, the radio show that tickles your funny bone and tantalizes your brain cells one laugh at a time. Last week, we dabbled in the realm of sex, love, and relationships, but tonight, oh my, we're diving headfirst into the steamy sea of sex. That's right, dear listeners, it's part 2 of our Demon Time talk, and we're ready to explore the ins and outs of this oh-so-fascinating subject. Brace yourselves for a show that will have you blushing, giggling, and maybe even squirming or squirting in your seats. And here's the best part. We want to hear from you. So grab your courage and maybe a glass of wine, and let's engage in some intimate conversation together. It's time to turn up the heat and make you laugh like never before. You are tuned in to Laugh Therapy with Jeaux.
Come on. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all
Not the
Let's talk about sex.
Yes, and of course, I've got my beautiful co-host with me.
JD, a.k.a. Sunshine, Wataguan.
You ready for this one, babe?
Mama, if you're listening, just have an open mind.
Hello, we see y'all coming in the building, and I wanted to start the very first question going into it with a intimate question so you guys can get to know us a little bit better. My first question is, in regards to head, do you prefer it fellatio? Do you prefer it wet and sloppy or clean and precise?
Wet and sloppy. Let's move on.
I kind of like a little mix of both. For me, I like a little
clean.
I like a little. Well, I'm not clean, but for the person, like I don't need them to spit on my shit. It's just, like she can start herself. Just so if they are clean with it and just precise and have the precision for where they need to be, then I'm cool with that. If they are sloppy and wet with it, so long as the precision is still there, I'm good either way.
All right, Stacy. Yeah, always, Stacy. Yeah, always. I didn't even think that was a. I didn't even think that was a thing.
Well, I mean, it may differ. We may have some male listeners as well who may, not like it as sloppy. I remember when I first started performing. Well, and this is, of course, before I knew that I was gay or bi. I thought wet and sloppy literally meant like try to make it as wet as possible. Yeah, it was spit everywhere, and he he was very nice about it though. He was like, okay.
Wait, is this the same guy from last week?
No, a different guy.
Oh, okay.
Different guy. He was very nice about it though. He was like,
you learning, boo. Go ahead and learn.
All right. Let me get a towel. He was like, this is a lot of situations.
Oh,
happening.
is this your auntie right here?
That is my auntie. Hi, auntie. Hi, Shotzi.
Oh, that's Shotzi.
Too young for this conversation, girl. Not 2 kids in, you too young.
Okay, Shotzi. All right.
All right.
We heard that.
Follow-up question. Have you ever encountered situations where your boundaries were disrespected or violated? And how did you handle that experience?
I did, but I didn't know that I was being violated at the time when it was happening, because that was back when I didn't know really anything about having boundaries. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get detailed into the situation, but look.
Tomatoes.
I'm not going to get detailed into the situation, but after it happened, I just like boohoo crying. And this was, I was in a relationship with this person too, and they felt absolutely horrible after it happened.
imagine.
I know that has to be weird in the middle of sex. Somebody just starts boohoo crying, but I didn't know that it was a trigger or violating for me at the time. Before it started happening, I tried to like say, nah, that's not something I really want. But then the person kind of like pushed a little bit, and I was like, all right, I'll see how this goes. And it didn't go the way either one of us thought it was going to go. No. Yeah, and I ended up just boo-hoo crying in the bed. Yeah, it was definitely rooted in trauma, and I felt violated, and it was a thing for a whole minute. But after that, it ended up being a good thing because it was something that we talked about, and I was like, it has to be something that I want, and I will let you know if I want it.
You handled that so well. Well, not the crying part, but the conversation
Man,
part.
I was boo-hooing.
When I got violated, full, naked, everything, titties still hanging, I got up and tried to fight him.
Was that the dude that came out the closet? I don't know if y'all remember last week.
He came walking out the damn closet.
Butt ass naked.
Fight everybody. Thought I was going to fight my way up out of there. Boy, they should have had a better conversation. I was going to fight for my life. But no, this particular person decided that he was just going to try. I was not into like any anal play, no butt play, nothing like that, and I made that very clear. But he was behind me, and we were in that position, and he decided he was going to try anyway because I was laying on my stomach. So he just inserted himself.
Oh.
And I, of course.
I'm sure that happens a lot. Ladies, tap in the comments to see if that happens a lot. I want to know.
No
Y'all call in.
At all, Stacy. He asked. I said no. He had asked a second time during a different time that we were sleeping together. I said no. I was very firm in my no.
So he might want a boyfriend then.
Yeah. So this time he just decided not to ask, and while in this position, just straight inserted himself. So I turned around. I turned over while he was behind me. So now he's on top of me, and I just kicked him off of me. And so he flies off the bed, and then I just get up ready. Like, I got up and just got to swinging because you got me fucked up. So that's how that went. We were also
Were y'all in a relationship?
Not after that. Not after that. Because he was trying to explain himself, and I just kept running in his shit. I just kept running in his mouth every time he tried because I had already said no. Exactly. Baby, Jordan, stop. I was in his shit. I knocked him all between his dresser. I was in his shit. And then after that, like, what do you say when the fight is over? Because you all over here all knotted up. What you gonna tell your homeboys, right? So now he just had to tell them I was crazy and we were no longer together. Because if you stay with her after that, like, bro, your girlfriend just whooped your ass. You can't, ain't no coming back from that, right? So, yes, my boundaries were violated and I felt like I needed to violate his. So, that's how that went with me.
Y'all notice how our stories went in two totally different directions.
Right. Who had time to cry? Not me. I was ready as shit.
But mine wasn't like that.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe if mine was like that, I would have got up swinging.
He tried my life. So I tried to take his. He had me fucked up. And what advice would you give others in similar situations? I say everybody should handle it the way I did. But anyway, what would you say, babe? Swing, girl.
I think it depends on the situation. Me versus her, how we handle things.
I say swing first.
I cared about the relationship and the person that I was in the relationship with, and I didn't feel like they did it maliciously or the intent was to hurt me. So that is why it got handled in that manner. Now, he just didn't listen, so I get it. I get why you swung.
Exactly, Stacy. Stacy said you got me fucked up, bruv. Exactly.
Yeah.
Joe has the accurate response. 100%. Swing first, ask questions later. I don't have time for none of that. I made my stance clear.
Yeah, so I think it just depends on the situation, on how you handle it. I would say both of our responses were appropriate for our situations.
I got my auntie's approval. She said swing off.
Of course, your Aunt Shotzi said swing.
Exactly. Ain't nobody got time for none of that.
Look, I'm not going to play with y'all today. Okay, so how do you foster a sex-positive environment where open and honest conversations about sex can take place without judgment? And what can we do as individuals to create a more inclusive and supportive space for discussing sexuality?
I would say making sex no longer a taboo subject. Because sex is such a sensitive subject for people, because it's intimate, I feel like a lot of people, especially parents, don't have the accurate type of conversations that children actually need. We understand more than you think we do, and also less than you think we do, because you're not telling us how to do it, how to perform the act, what's safe, what's comfortable. You're not encouraging us to explore. You're just telling us that, sex makes babies and all of the dangerous parts of sex, but we're not being taught in the pleasures, because if it was so dangerous, we wouldn't be here, right? If it was so dangerous, you guys wouldn't keep doing it, if it was so dangerous. So we're like, our parents, and then we're just out here trying stuff, and that's how bad shit happens. Or we're believing things that aren't necessarily true. I would say putting it on the table to talk about it with your kids and your nieces and your cousins and whatnot, and kind of just letting them express what they think sex is, and correcting, and then just educating from there. I would say that that's one way to have those open and honest conversations. It starts at a young age, because you'd be surprised at what age kids start talking about sex, or getting sexual advances, or just playing games like the slap ass Fridays and shit started for us in like 5th or 6th grade. You'd be surprised. Exactly. You'd be surprised how many different types of sexual things are introduced to your kids and to your nieces and nephews and your young ones while you're not paying attention. And then you try and have these conversations with them when they're teenagers, and they've either already started having some experiences, or they're on the brink of having some, and you're just trying to traumatize them out of it. And I don't think that that's healthy either way. So I would say, as individuals, to create more inclusive and supportive space for discussing sexuality, I feel that we're doing it. We're doing it right now by having these conversations on the radio, having these conversations on our TikToks and on our YouTube and our podcasts and whatnot, and just kind of opening the airwaves and saying, hey, this is something I experienced. Do you guys experience something differently and whatnot? Because talking about sex is not having it. Talking about sex is not the intimate, act. It's not the taboo act. So I don't understand why just having that discussion, that's something only me and my husband talk about.
I was going to get into that later.
That's something only I should talk about only with my husband. Well, if you're talking about it only with your husband, and you and your husband are having horrible sex, you might want to bring in a third party. Not a third party to have sex with, but a third party to communicate, because clearly that communication is not going well between you and the person you're sleeping with, in my opinion. So I don't know. I feel like for my friends, I just kind of broke it in. I would just start talking, and they'd be like, whoa, okay, well, this is what we're doing. And now we have some of the best sexual conversations. They'll call and they'll be like, bitch, dick, too, bomb, something or whatever they got going on with their baby daddies or boyfriends or whatever. We like, get it. I opened those floodgates, and it turns out they really needed someone to confide in when it came to that. So that's how I did it. How about you? How do you foster a sex positive environment and have open conversations with your friends or family members or whatever about sex?
I mean, I would mostly agree with what you were saying. Just start having the conversation. Especially with me and my friends. I told y'all last week we learned that one of my friends still had an orgasm in her grown ass age, and we still clowned her, but we clowned her for a long time, and I love her to death. You know who I'm talking about. I know you're listening too. No, but in all honesty, it's sad. So we as a collective, as friends, we were like, nah, baby girl, you got to do better. And you continuing to do this, and it's not pleasurable for you? Why are you doing it? But to talk about what you were saying, as far as educating kids and them being scared, like parents trying to scare them with the sex talk, I wholeheartedly agree. When you try to tap fear into them, it just makes them more curious about, what is it?
I told you.
What is it?
My mama's friend
I think
Sylvia.
If parents really wanted to scare kids, they would just bring them around some badass kids, or show them some real syphilis, or some real gonorrhea, or some real crabs. Show these kids the
I don't
real
think that
shit.
works either, because in middle school, or was it high school, y'all help me out. Weren't we all looking up that blue waffle picture, trying to see what it was of that girl that had like 7 different STDs?
No, but
and
you
her
think it's
vagina
cool.
almost blew up, and we were like, ha ha ha, thinking it could never happen to us.
You think it's cool. I'm talking about some real life stuff. I'm talking about some real anatomy and
Go
physiology.
Take them into the
I'm talking.
clinic.
Yes, you. Hey, no, for real though, because you don't think it can happen to you. I'm saying until you have someone you know who it happens to. Show them some real life stuff and take them to some real badass kids' house. Look, this is a possibility. Y'all, if you got kids that's in middle school or high school, send them our way so they can watch Legend and Legacy, and they can know this might not be what I want.
First of all, don't do my babies. I have beautiful, very well behaved.
They are beautiful
children.
Did you say well behaved?
I did say well behaved. Compared to some of the other children that I have met, my children are quite well behaved when I step in. They just get on my nerves sometimes.
I don't know nothing about the blue waffle. And Stacy, what is this game? The nervous game? What is that?
Are You Nervous? You didn't play Are You Nervous in school?
No.
Basically,
Y'all younger than me though.
Yeah, basically, they would start like at your knee and ask if you were nervous, and then continue moving up to different parts of your body.
Sexual assault?
Yeah, basically asking if you were nervous while they got to touch all over your doggone body. And then once you said yes, you were nervous, they would stop touching you. Like, that's where they had to stop. But then you would get clowned if you got nervous hella early. I didn't care. I was nervous at the knee.
Y'all was committing sexual assault in middle school?
It was a game. Ha 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 ha. But I told you, they tried to scare me. My mama's friend, Cynthia, told me that your meat fall off in the middle of the street when you let people touch it, remember? She said your coochie just fall off. Black! Big ass piece of meat in the middle of the street. And then it scared me, but also it scared me because I was looking at them like, wait, because people touched y'all, so y'all ain't got one, is all I was thinking. I was looking at my mama like, you ain't got no coochie. I was scared of shit for like a year. I was like, you ain't got no coochie. We ain't got no coochie. Me, my friend Jennifer, and who told, it was somebody on my basketball team that clowned me and told me I was stupid for believing that. I was like, I did. My mama ain't got one. She ain't got one because she got 4 kids. Like, she ain't got one.
Oh, that's so bad. No, and I will say to parents, if you are not comfortable having that conversation with your child alone, bring in the freaky aunt, bring in the explorative aunt or cousin or friend of the family, a best friend. There is someone you know that can help you, guide you through that conversation to have with your children, because it is a necessity to have them. And we are the freaky aunts. So if there's anyone that you need for us to have that conversation
not as freaky
with,
as my aunts, because my aunts showed up with bananas, and I was like,
yeah, because you had Aunt Carmen and Nee, yeah.
Well, Aunt Carmen didn't. She talked to me about it, but I was already older. Nee was talking to me about wearing stilettos and trench coats when I first was thinking about getting married, and then a banana and how to properly give fellatio. She's like, and I'll show you how to. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. I think I got it.
You got to catch them at a certain age where they're curious.
I didn't have
so they'll
it,
listen.
Obviously, as I just told
you don't want to miss
slop
that
it all
window.
over that man. But,
oh God.
But I didn't want that lesson.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness. When I do talk to my daughter about sex, she is going to like freaking cry laughing. I have all the stories. I drooled all over that man. I done thrown up on somebody thinking that I knew how to deep throat. I did not.
You threw up?
All over that man. Do you hear me? From like his belly button to his freaking thighs, covered in what the fuck we ate earlier that day. It was bad. It was chunks, y'all. It was not cute. It was not.
Oh, God.
It was not. I didn't talk to him either for like 3 days. He kept calling, like, like trying to make it seem like it was okay. I was like, no. Fuck that up.
It is not. I bet he be
all over that.
I want to hear his side of the story, too.
He just sat there, too. He said, oh. And just sat there. He was like, and just froze. He said, I know you. He just looked up and he was like, nah, it's okay. It's okay. Can you like give me a towel though? I was freaking out, y'all. It was real bad. The trauma, yes, it was chunks. It was real bad. It's probably his favorite
like
story
when he dating and they be asking each other, what was your craziest sexual experience?
And I'm gonna be famous,
this girl
y'all.
threw up on me one
I just
time.
know I'm gonna be famous and accepting an Oscar or something, and this story is gonna come out like the guy's gonna step forward and be like, it was me. Like I slept with her and she threw up on me.
I see it. And he gonna.
So turns out I'm gay, so
He gonna
wasn't supposed to be that far back then, nigga. Shit.
He gonna tag you in your Grammy speech too. He gonna have a video and it say she threw up on my dick.
So shout out to him. Y'all ain't got no crazy sex stories. Y'all over here laughing at mine in the comments, but ain't seeing them. Y'all want to share yours. It's just me. Y'all know I tell all my business. What are some common misconceptions about sex that you have personally encountered?
I'd say with women, we do, and it's not a lie when you're younger. I'm just gonna say this, but it's a lie when you get past a certain age that you have sex for hours and hours and hours and hours. It's not possible after about 35. It's not. And if you've lived a hard life, it's not possible after 31.
Boy, oh boy.
That is a misconception in the lesbian community, that we have sex for days, unless you just got time like that. If you got kids and real jobs, it ain't happening like that no more.
Stacey said lie. She had sex for 2 hours on Monday.
Look, 2 hours, I'm talking about continue. Like, I've had sex before for 8 hours straight. Yes.
That's a shift.
Yes, it was a shift at work, and I almost passed out after I got done. That is not happening in your 30s.
What's your funny story, Jazzy? Put it in the comments or give us a call.
Oh, yeah,
We
call
wanna hear it.
us and tell
Call the
us
line.
the
It's
funny
at the-
story. I do want to hear
It's
this,
at the bottom of the
Jazzy.
screen. I want to hear your funny story.
Yeah, the number's at the bottom of the screen. You got to call. See, there was a break.
It wasn't
Nah.
Yeah, see? That's the difference. You definitely need a break. I'd be like, get off of me.
She gives this awkward laugh, and it's time to get up.
Get off of me.
What about you?
Huh?
What's some common misconceptions that you've encountered?
Ooh, what are some misconceptions about sex? Well, for starters, the whole coochie falling off in the middle of the street, that was, I don't know if that's a common misconception, but
It's
it was
not common.
that was told
No
to
one
me.
else thinks that
Oh, I'm saying.
at all. That's not common.
I used to think that that orgasms were a myth when I was having sex. Like I said, I thought something was wrong with me, and then I just decided they weren't real. And then I finally had one myself, and I was like, oh shit.
They are real.
Like, they are real, just not with other people. Yeah. And hence now I'm gay. There was nothing about penetration that was fun for me at that time. How do cultural and societal norms shape our attitudes towards sexuality?
So, here's the thing, is we are such a sexualized culture. Like, everything is sexualized. Music, entertainment, everything is sexualized, but we don't actually like talking about it. Like, I'm pretty sure my mom has turned this stream off, and if she's still listening, she's hella uncomfortable. I'm sorry, but this is what we mean when we say this. We should be able to have these conversations. A lot of things that happen to people behind closed doors when it comes to sexual things wouldn't happen if we had these conversations and we had these talks, because how do I know what you like if we don't talk about it? You just trying shit. What Cat Williams say? Trying shit. No, this is what I like, and we're gonna talk about what I like, and we're gonna talk about what you like, so we can just do that. And it's so juxtaposed on how we don't we're over sexualized as a culture, but we don't actually like talking about sexuality and sexual things. It's so weird how we can draw that hard line in the sand. I don't know if that is a religion thing that we do or what, but it's so juxtaposed when we talk about actually talking about sex, but us being a sexualized culture.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I feel that specifically in the Black culture, we are over-sexualized. Girls, for sure. Even if you look at our music and things of that nature, if you listen to country or rock or pop, most of them aren't talking about the same things that we are in our rap, hip hop, and R&B albums when we're talking about sex. The women aren't dressed the same. If you look at country or cowboys or whatnot, the girls might have on some Daisy Dukes, but they're still fully covered. Whereas in our videos, we have unplugged and girls in complete G-strings and the boobs out. Yeah. And we're shaking and gyrating and things of that nature. And that's acceptable for us to just do it and see it, but it's taboo for us to talk about it. So I think that cultural and societal norms shape our attitudes by teaching us that it is taboo to have the conversation, but it is not taboo to do.
Yeah.
In our culture in particular. But then those of us who are raised in the church, they teach us to have shame in our sex if it is not, in our sexuality, if it is not with your spouse. But who is waiting for marriage these days to have sex? And to who is committing to possible horrible sex? No one's doing that, or almost no one is doing that nowadays. It's unrealistic. Therefore, I also feel like in the churches, we need to start having some more conversations like these as well, where we're talking about, we know you fucking, you know, like we know you.
It's the same conversation with porn. Nobody will, I won't say nobody, because there are people who would admit to watching porn, but it's like the biggest industry in America. Mm-hmm. Like it's $1 billion industry. Somebody watching it, somebody buying it, somebody's a part of it. But everybody got their hands hidden when it comes down to actually talking about it.
My former pastor admitted to having a porn addiction. And, you know, we supported him through it or whatever, but when he said it, you know, to see the reaction of some people like, oh my God, he did it. And I was looking at them like, so you don't watch porn? You know, like I was like, if y'all don't calm down, that man is out here thinking that he is just really, you know, getting ready to burn, getting ready to burn because of y'all. Oh my God, we have to pray for him. If y'all don't sit, like, first of all, you should have been praying for him anyway. Let's start with that. Secondly, he was vulnerable enough to say, hey, I think I might have a problem with the amount that I'm watching and the type that I'm watching because it's creating an unrealistic image in my head of what's supposed to be happening between myself and my wife. He wasn't cheating on his wife, but he started to feel like he was with that type of imagery. That is a personal, you know, decision that he made, and he shared it with the church. And I'm like, oh, I see that. I can see that, you know, and how it can slowly become something that you end up not realizing that you're spending a lot of time doing, right? So I was like, oh, okay, so do less of it, right? I'm like, no problem. We can support him doing less of it. We got to cut off past the Wi-Fi. What we about to do, right? I'm like, what? I wasn't offended. I wasn't like coming at him or anything like that. And there are still people who will bring that up about said pastor. And I'm just like, I was dead ass looking at the church like,
kids
y'all,
out of wedlock.
Exactly. Y'all are out here acting like this man is doing something wrong by watching porn. The amount I get, you know, that's something that he may need some help with. But the fact that he's doing it and y'all are just so shocked that he's watching it like he ain't a grown ass man, get out of here. So I feel like cultural and societal norms shape our attitudes towards it in those ways. When it comes to religion, it instills a lot of fear and shame in us for talking about it, because if you're talking about it, most likely you're engaging in it, and if you're not married or this pillar or whatever, then there's shame around it. And then for culturally, just out in society, they make it seem as though if you're out here, you're a freak. You either got to be a freak, you got to be sexy, you got to da-da-da-da-da in order for you to get anywhere in life. And neither of those things are true. We just need to start having open and honest conversations about it.
I agree. What are some tips for increasing sexual pleasure and satisfaction?
Fuck yourself.
That was my answer. We didn't talk about this either.
Yes. You have to experiment with yourself. If you are young and you're learning about sex, if you are not if you are still embarrassed or too afraid to touch yourself, to insert or penetrate yourself, you should not want someone else to penetrate you. One, it hurts like shit. I already told y'all in last episode that I was under the impression that it was just like, ooh, it hurts a little bit. And then, like, as soon as he inserted, I was like, ah! Scared the shit out of both of us. I was like, oh no, this is not what I signed up for. If you are not experiencing pleasure yourself, knowing which points feel good, how your body responds to certain things, you probably shouldn't be having sex. Because when you start, like I said, when you start fucking yourself, that's when you find out what you like. That's when you find out what's pleasurable and what's not. You're going to get some things wrong. You're going to get some things right. Like she just said, Cat Williams, try shit to keep.
But you'd rather try it with yourself
than
somebody else trying it on you. And then you realize, oh my God, that's traumatizing. I don't
like that.
Yeah. But yeah, that was completely 100% my answer. Was
my current dilemma. What's your current dilemma, Jazzy?
Yeah. Try it yourself first to see if you like it. And honestly, if you are watching porn, you might get some good ideas. I'm not advocating for watching it or not.
I am.
That is your prerogative if you decide to do that. But you might get some good ideas as well to try.
Just saying.
That.
Do you believe that sexual orientation is solely biological, or can it be influenced by societal factors?
It is not solely biological, and it can be influenced. Yeah, so both can be true. I do believe there are people who are born gay, just right out the womb. But I also do believe there are people who are conditioned to think they are straight, and they live that way and come to the realization later on in life that they are not. Or there are some people who are gay and they choose to be in a heterosexual relationship. It's your world. You can do what you want to do. So I think both can be true. You can be born gay and you can be influenced by society.
For the longest time, I've been scared. We got close a couple times, but that immense pressure is a nope. To having
I feel
sex,
you, Jazzy.
You guys got close to having sex and you were like, nope, can't do it.
I feel you, Jazzy.
I feel that. My story of probably didn't just help.
Somebody tap in with a good story. Stacey, where you at?
Somebody give her some pleasurable stories. Yeah. It's fun now, Jazzy, but yeah, that first time was a motherfucking doozy. But he also didn't care, though. Like, he didn't care to be gentle, entering or whatnot.
Because he didn't know what he was doing anyway.
Yeah, he was just like, oh, like, I get to fun. Like, I get to get some. So he just was ramming, and I wasn't ready to be rammed. That wasn't.
Again, why you need to have conversations with your sons and your daughters. Because that interaction would not have happened that way if somebody was having a conversation with both of them.
And there will be a lot less beat up men in San Antonio, Texas, is all I'm saying, because my initial response is always to swing. I don't know why, but my initial response is always to swing. You know why my initial response is to swing? Why is it?
Because you violent.
And he still wanted to have sex. I elbowed the hell out that man, and he still wanted to have sex.
Well, I guess he figured we here now. My eye already lumped.
Yeah, I was like, his eye was lumpy.
Might as well get something for the lump.
Yeah.
He was already too eeger to begin with, so I'm sure
you're
that.
Supposed to moan, girl.
Holding the eye.
Oh Lord. So my bad. I have never, ever, ever hit her, y'all. ever. But them men's back in San Antonio, Texas got some stories. They got some stories.
Oh, man, I can only imagine how they gonna tell these stories once you become famous.
It's gonna be a documentary, girl. I promise.
Surviving Joe King. It's gonna be people on the screen blacked out with the voice. One time she whooped my ass so bad.
And then she threw up on me.
We having too much fun with this. Oh God.
so many. There were so many stories. Anyway.
Did you answer the question? Do you believe that sexual orientation is solely biological or influenced by?
Oh, I did not. I do believe that it can be influenced by societal factors simply because I don't like men's no more. Women. That what, sir? Come on, quit playing with us. Like,
wait, what's his name?
I forgot his name. I've been delivered. Like,
with
sir,
a T.
Sir, no, that's not how that works. With Donnie McClurkin, I don't think that you just ungayed, sir.
Nah, not at all.
You just suppressed those feelings and those emotions because you were told that it was wrong, and you believed that it was wrong when people told you that it was wrong, right? So you allowed yourself to be pushed back into that closet. I don't think that he just ungayed. I don't think that ungaying is the thing. So I do believe that society can force people to stay in the closet or influence people to push those feelings or those thoughts aside for comfort. Some people don't want to be stared at or for their relationships to be questioned or to question whether or not their families are going to support them or love them or view them the same. So they choose to go with what society deems as normal because society needs us to continue producing babies. Society needs us to continue pushing out these kids so that we can continue having an economy that continues.
Because Social Security numbers equals money.
That continues to keep money in
human
our country.
Currency.
Exactly. So if everybody's embracing their sexuality and more people start saying, oh, yes, I can be with a woman, or yes, I can be with a man as a man, and this, that, and the other, it can affect those numbers. So society is going to always be against LGBTQ continuing to thrive or grow, or people just being able to be happy and be love is love and blah, 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 because it affects their bottom line. It affects the dollars. So I definitely think that it can be influenced, and millennials are starting to come out and be like,
yeah, Stacey, you are correct. But it's not even just gay people. There's a lot of gay people who want kids. It's mostly a lot of the straight people that are like, I'm good.
Facts.
I don't want to have no kids. Yes, you can't even afford to take care of yourself, much less kids. Yeah, so that's a whole different conversation. Andrew Codwell, that's his name. I was about to say Andrew Tate, but that's completely wrong. So yeah, it's Andrew Codwell. I'm delivered.
In what ways can sex be used as a form of self-expression?
I would say just being who you are is a form of self-expression. Because if you Donnie McClurkin and you in the closet, you can't be who you are. You're performing all the time, and you're trying. As someone who was in the closet for a very long time, you are wearing a mask 24/7, and you are not comfortable in any space if you're not out to anybody. And you're trying to put on for everyone. And I know it has to be worse if you're an entertainer and everyone knows your face. You know what I'm saying? So you're never able to be yourself, and it is exhausting. So I would just say, yeah, being able to just be yourself is the main part of it. What about you?
I would say if you need an example of sex being used as a form of self-expression, all I need is for all of y'all to Google Janelle Monáe's new album.
Yeah.
Janelle Monáe is in her motherfucking bag and in her era right now when it comes to what?
I'm reading Jazzy's comment. Go ahead.
She's in her bag when it comes to just expressing herself and expressing her sexuality and embracing it and just being who she is. I, for one, absolutely love her new album, Age of Pleasure. If you guys haven't listened to it, it is a banger all the way through to me, personally.
We love Janelle around here.
Absolutely. I think sex can be used as a form of self-expression when it comes to art. Sex is an artistic way to express yourself, which is why they do the painting of the naked models. The human body is an amazing thsome
and there's so much shame around it.
So much. Even when I see some people now, if you have the body and you out here body outing in some little shorts or a sundress, I'm gonna look.
We
look here, and I'll tap her if she missed it. baby, real quick, and both of us will be sitting here. Some of the comics walked in and saw me. And I want to say it was 2 male comics or whatnot, and a young lady walked by and she had body when she walked by, and all three of our heads tilted at the same time. And another comic walked in and was like, y'all, look at you, shameful. Oh, like you're shameful or whatever. And we all laughed it off. He was just joking, and so were we. But hell, she walked by in that sundress and the dress was still moving, and we were like, yes, ma'am. You know, so I feel like
there's even men we look at like he could be our boyfriend.
But what was Jazzy's story? What'd you say?
She said, long story short, they were experimenting one day, and he was trying to finish on her chest, but got in her eye. Oh. Has that happened to a lot of us?
Yeah, well, I can't speak for all other women, but yeah, that shit burns too. Like, what were you drinking, sir? Why your shit feel like soda? How the fuck is it fizzing? I was so mad. I felt like I had pink eye. I was like, can you get AIDS in your eye? Like, I was
Google.
Right. I was scared because I didn't feel like my eye was supposed to burn that bad. Did it burn when it happened to you?
No.
See, this is why you shouldn't fuck niggas who drink Hennessy and smoke Black and Miles, because goddamn
mine was an athlete.
My God, so was mine. He was still an athlete. Lips black as tar though, because he smoked like a goddamn
chimney.
Yeah, smoked like a chimney. But yeah, that shit got in my eye. And I thought I was blind. I thought I was through.
Oh, Stacy.
My eye was red for 3 days. Exactly, Jazzy. I don't think mine was 3 days, but it was like a day and a half. But it burnt like hell the whole time.
Wait, Shaky, I gotta hear your story. I don't even want to know who it is. I gotta hear your story, Shake. You gotta comment or call in. I gotta hear this.
Stacy said my ex did a helicopter with his dick, and right into my eye it went. It was awful. What do y'all be doing?
Wait, a helicopter?
Like men. Yeah, like swinging around.
Oh, no. Why? Jeez. Oh, no.
What be going through men's heads? Why would you do that? Oh, my goodness. I want to hear all the stories.
That's absolutely terrible.
I don't feel like I'm a part of the conversation. There are people like me who don't experience sexual attraction, asexual, and a lot of people just don't understand.
Well,
explain.
Yeah.
Feel free to explain. Join
you don't experience sexual attraction to male or female?
Even if you don't experience sexual attraction, it doesn't mean you don't experience sex, though. Do you still pleasure yourself? Do you still have it, even though it's not just because you have the hormones that want it, or being asexual means you just, like, you're void of sex?
Of sex at all. I would like to hear more about that.
Yeah.
That's intriguing.
Why he thought that was a good idea is beyond me. Yeah, it's beyond me too, friend. They just
be you typing
shit
in caps, Stacey. You yelling. I know you mad.
Shit.
You was mad.
She said, "Woo, that's private. I'll save that for later." We putting it all out.
All right. So, what role does consent play in sexual relationships, and how can we promote healthy communication around it?
Ooh, I think one of the best examples of that currently is this whole YK Osiris and what's her name, Sukiana situation, where he kind of forced that kiss on her, and she was saying yes, and she was saying she was scared, she didn't want that, and then immediately people automatically started shaming her because of her sexual persona and her the way that she dresses and her music and this and other. None of that is a pass. None of that is consent.
And
none
the
of
men
that says
sitting
you
there
get to touch
didn't
me.
defend her either.
Absolutely. She was surrounded by black men, and all of them acted like they didn't see what was going on. So I would say that consent should play the biggest role, because if you're having sex with someone that has not consented, that is rape.
Mm-hmm. It's simple.
Just plain and simple, black and white, that is rape. Therefore, consent should be had before if there is no consent, then there is no sexual relationship, in my opinion. So I think it plays the largest role, and I think that we can promote healthy communication around it by doing exactly, again, what it is that we're doing now, by continuing to talk about it, but also I feel like all women should have a pact that we will protect each other, right? That we will step in for each other when it comes to things like that. There have been plenty of times at a club or whatever when I was younger that I would see a drunk ass girl falling all over herself, and I'm trying to find her friends. Mm-hmm.
Because I know you're not here by yourself.
Exactly. Where are you supposed to be? Who does she belong to? Like she's a fucking toddler. Because this is how you get hurt. This is how you come up missing. And I wouldn't feel right if tomorrow or the next week I see your picture on the news as someone who's missing and there was something I could have done to intervene.
That's going to fuck me up.
Exactly. So I feel like, if there is no consent, there should be no sexual relationship. But also, I think we can promote it by just having that understanding amongst women that we will continue to look out for each other. However, we will also hold each other accountable, because if you came to this club by yourself, you also should have had, one, a ride home. Two, you should know what your limit is. Don't come to this club by yourself and then get fucked up and then just know because, oh, the women's pact, they're going to look out for me, because everybody, has their own thing going on. You don't know if she looks normal, but she fucked up too, and you expected her to have your back. So be careful. Be careful and look out for yourself, but also I think we can promote it by having those types of conversation amongst us, because it's necessary. What about you?
I think as far as consent goes, you can't ever be too protective I won't say in this day and age, but period. You can't ever say, that's too much to ask her if I can have sex with her. No, if you ask her and she says yes, then you have consent. And there is no way that can be misconstrued or mixed up if you CYA. Period. Hey, what do you think all the rich people do? They make women or make men sign NDAs or whatever, and it includes consent. So if somebody tries to come back and say you did something without their consent, nah, baby girl, I got your
whole
signature.
Right? What?
So there's no confusion about what happened or what went down, because I'm not saying do that in all of your sexual encounters if you out here like that, but I definitely say make sure you have full consent before moving forward. And it might be awkward at first, yes, but it's better to be sure versus you guessing and then she come back and say you did something you didn't consent to. And make sure they are coherent, both men and women. Drunk, like super drunk, sloppy sex, that's not the way to go. It can turn out too bad in all many different ways. So I would say just be careful before moving forward and have that conversation, whether it's awkward or not. It's better to have that conversation than have to deal with it later. That's my take on it.
I agree. Would you say that there is such a thing as normal or ideal sex? And if so, what does that look like or mean?
Being gay, I don't think there's a normal sex. I don't think we can be in the normal sex category. I mean, there's not a normal sex for women, I wouldn't say. There might be something you might enjoy more than others as far as a lesbian relationships, but heterosexual, I would say there's probably normal. Missionary. I
was thinking missionary for heterosexuals as well. That's the normal, that's the position everybody knows how to do.
But it's the most intimate position as well.
I would agree. But I personally think that it's a personal decision, because for some people, like I said, for my first time, he didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. He tried from the back first. And it hurt like shit, and which is why he caught the elbow. Right.
Y'all hear that? Education.
I was like, okay, and yeah, clack. So now he got a black eye, and I'm trying to explain to my mama why I'm walking like like my hip's been dislocated.
Wait, I thought you told her.
Catching my get along.
I thought you told her.
Huh?
I thought you told her.
When I lost my virginity?
Yeah. Oh, you say you told your mama everything.
After the fact. Yeah, it was after. Yeah, I didn't tell her that day. Yeah, no, I think she figured it out. Actually, no, my mom thought I lost my virginity long before I lost my virginity, because I was hanging with a whole bunch of dudes. I was skipping school and shit, so she thought I was doing stuff that I had no business doing, which I was, just fucking wasn't part of those things. I tried weed for the first time. We would hop on the bus and ride around school, stuff like that. We'd go to the mall with no money. We were doing shit we had no business doing during the school day. However, I was not fucking.
I didn't skip school like
really?
that.
I was gone.
I was active in school though, but I didn't skip. But
my freshman year, they'd have thought I was a mall employee.
I told you about the summer my mom kicked me out.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So at the time, my best friend Casey, which is a guy, me and him were like so tight. And every day, because he had just gotten a car, and every day he would come over to the house. And this is during summer, so mom is gone to work. My sister was gone, I think, to her dad's. So it was just me at the house. And, you know, she called to check in, make sure I done woke up and did this and took out the meat. And she would ask me what I was doing. And every day I would just be honest because I wasn't doing nothing with him. He was...
Oh,
like,
you did tell me that. She kicked you out to your daddy's house. I thought you meant like put you outside.
Nah.
I was like, damn, Christine
would never put me outside like that. No. So yeah, I would be honest with her and tell her the truth. Like, oh yeah, Casey's over here and I'm about to make us lunch, or we about to go play basketball, or blah blah blah. Just being honest because nothing was happening between us. Now, if I was lying, something was happening. But I thought I was doing the right thing by being honest, and I could tell her voice and inflection and everything like that when I would talk to her on the phone would be, is he inside the house? Yeah, mama, you know Casey. You hang with Casey. We all, because he came to the family functions, all that kind of stuff. And one day she just called my daddy and was like, I don't know what we're going to do with your daughter. She need to come stay with you because I don't like what's going on between her and it and da-da-da-da-da. So she sent me over there, and I told you he had a car. And he actually lived like 5 minutes away from my boyfriend at the time. So Casey would just come pick me up and take me over to my boyfriend's house, which was his best friend.
Setup. It's a setup. You fucked up, Mom. No. We are about to be out of time, so I'm trying to decide where to go from here. How can we navigate sexual boundaries in the era of Me Too? I don't think that you're supposed to navigate sexual boundaries. You're supposed to respect them. Don't try and find ways and maneuver around them, above, beneath them. Just respect them. And if the person that you care about, or the person that you're thinking of sleeping with and that's thinking of sleeping with you, sets a boundary, respect that boundary. If you're not married or you're not in a committed relationship, then explore what it is that you wanted to explore with somebody else or with yourself. You don't have to sleep with this person once they set that boundary. I don't understand what's so difficult about that. Like, you finally found somebody that wants to sleep with you. If you don't have very many options, like, I don't understand why you wouldn't respect a personal boundary. In my personal opinion, did you have something else to say about that?
No, I agree. There's no navigating boundaries. Don't cross it. It's a boundary for a reason. You're not supposed to go there. So yeah, I agree.
I would agree, guys. Anybody? Do you guys have any personal questions? I haven't seen you guys ask any. Oh, with the asexual statement, I did see that she said that she just does not have sex at all. And I'm sorry if I'm misgendering you. I don't know your proper pronouns, and based on your name, I cannot tell if it is a he, she. So please do not take that as disrespect. But it does say no sex, period. But there are people who identify as asexual that still participate in the activity. I personally am romantically attracted to people of all genders and just don't have sex. So that is another reason why consent is important, because if you're asexual and you don't have sex, but someone else identifies as asexual, but they do, that can be confusing for people who are outside of the community, which is why communication is important and consent is also important. Properly expressing that before entering a relationship is important, so that someone who does have sexual needs or desires can make that decision moving forward. But yeah, I think just respecting those boundaries, and you'll find your people. Yeah, that's my thought on that. Did you have any advice or anything to say to that, Betty?
I mean, there's other ways to be intimate without actually having sex. So I mean, I understand. I wonder have you always known you were asexual, or is it something that you came to the conclusion later on in life after actually trying it? I would be curious to know that as well. Yeah.
Did you realize it was a no after you had already tried it? I probably should have realized it was a no after I tried it. My first time was horrible.
You thought your Gucci was broken.
I did. I thought it was broken. And then I also walked around for the next couple of days waiting on it to fall off. So I was walking around with a catch in my get along waiting on it to just detach from my body. Oh, no. Oh, no. Never has. Still got it. For anyone wondering. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Laugh Therapy today. I hope you guys had fun and also learned some things. We did want to have this conversation and make it as fun as possible, but also for you guys to get to know us a little bit more intimately as well, and for us to get to know you a little bit more intimately. Thank you guys for engaging with us, and thank you for tuning in every week. We greatly appreciate it. Tune in next Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, where I don't even know what we'll be discussing next week. Tune in. It might be a surprise. But thank you guys so much for tuning in with us. Remember, laughter is the best medicine, so make sure you laugh at least 3 times a day. Thank you guys for tuning in. I am Joe King.
And this is JD, a.k.a. Sunshine.
And we are over and out. Bye, guys.
See y'all next week.